Our environment. In nature, we will find plants, animals, human beings, microorganisms, temperature, rainfall, wind, soil, minerals, etc. All these components of the environment interact with one another to maintain a balance in nature. The living components of the environment are called as biotic components, and the non-living components are called as abiotic components. All the interacting biotic components in an area together with the abiotic components of the environment form an ecosystem. Forests, ponds, deserts are the examples of natural ecosystems, whereas gardens, crop fields and aquariums are the examples of artificial or man-made ecosystems. Let us look at the components of a natural ecosystem, pond. If we observe a pond ecosystem, we can find animals like pond snail, pond scatter, tadpole, turtle, duck, mussels, leech, fish, frog, plants like water lily, lotus, duckweed, water chestnut, and microorganisms like bacteria and protozoa. These are the different organisms of the pond ecosystem. All these are the biotic components of the pond ecosystem, whereas oxygen, carbon dioxide, temperature, sunlight, nutrients, these are the abiotic components of the pond ecosystem. The biotic components of the ecosystem are categorized into three types according to their mode of feeding. They are producers, consumers, and decomposers. Green plants and some bacteria can make organic compounds like sugar and starch from inorganic substances using the radiant energy of the sun in presence of chlorophyll. These organisms are called as producers. The animals that feed on plants are called herbivores. The animals that feed on herbivores are called carnivores. The animals that feed on both plants and animals are called omnivores. The herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores, all these three together called as consumers. The microorganisms like bacteria and fungi decompose the dead remains and wastes of plants and animals. That means they break down the complex organic substances of plants and animals into simple inorganic substances. These inorganic substances get mixed up with the soil and are used up once more by the plants. That's why these microorganisms are called decomposers, and this process is called decomposition. Food chains and food webs. Living things need energy to live, but from where do they get the energy? Living things get the energy from food. A snake gets energy by eating a rabbit. That means the energy flows from the rabbit to snake. From where do the rabbit get the energy? From the plants it eats. From where do the plants get the energy? They get the energy from the sun. So here we can observe that in an ecosystem, organisms are arranged in a series like a chain. Each organism belongs to a particular trophic level. The organism at the first trophic level supplies the energy and nutrients to the organism at the next trophic level. So this chain is called a food chain. Let's see its definition. A food chain is a series of organisms where each one is eaten by the next, showing the flow of energy in an ecosystem. It starts with a plant or primary producer and goes on to consumers like animals. In any food chain, sun is the ultimate source of energy. Plants convert the solar energy into chemical energy, that is nothing but food. That is the reason why the plants are called producers, because they produce the food. The animals that feed on plants are called primary consumers, and the animals that feed on primary consumers are called secondary consumers. The animals that feed on secondary consumers are called tertiary consumers. So each food chain has different trophic levels. We find producers in the first trophic level, primary consumers in the second trophic level, secondary consumers in the third trophic level, and tertiary consumers in the fourth trophic level. In this food chain, we can observe the flow of energy from one organism to another organism. Now, let us learn some more important points about the flow of energy in a food chain. A plant can convert only 1% of the total sunlight that falls on their leaves into food. The energy in the plant flows into the body of the animal that eats it. Can the animals use the whole energy that is obtained from the plants to build their bodies? No, because most of the energy that flows into the body of the animals is released out in the form of body heat. Some energy is used for digestion and for other physical activities. Only the remaining energy is converted into the body tissues of that animal. On an average, only 10% of energy obtained from food is useful for body growth and development. The rest is spent for various activities. So in a food chain, only 10% of energy from level 1 is available for the level 2. Only 10% of the energy from level 2 is available for level 3. And only 10% of energy from level 3 is available for level 4. So we can observe a gradual decline of energy from first level to last level. That is the reason why the food chains usually have only 3 to 4 levels. In a food chain, the flow of energy is unidirectional. That means the energy flows from a herbivore to a carnivore, never from a carnivore to a herbivore in reverse direction. The energy available at one trophic level becomes less when it passes to the next level. This is due to the loss of energy at each level. And one more important thing is that the number of organisms in the lower trophic level are very high. As we go up in the trophic levels, we see a decline in the number of organisms at each level. This is about a food chain. Now let us learn about food web. Sometimes one animal found in a food chain of an ecosystem can be a part of another food chain also. That means in an ecosystem, many food chains may be linked with one another. If we present all these food chains in a graphical form, it looks like this. This is called a food web. A food web is a network of interconnected food chains showing the complex relationships and interactions between different organisms in an ecosystem. This is all about food chains, food webs, and trophic levels. Biological magnification. We all know that bacteria, viruses, and insects attack the plants quite often. If these pests and insects are not controlled, they make the plants weak and sometimes even they may kill the plant. That is why in agricultural fields, plants are sprayed with chemical pesticides and insecticides. These pesticides may enter the food chains and cause many problems. Now let us see how these poisonous chemicals enter the food chains. The pesticides enter the plant bodies in two ways. 1. When the pesticides are sprayed, the leaves absorb the pesticides into the bodies of the plant. 2. The pesticides that fall on the ground mixes up with the soil and are absorbed by the plant roots along with water and minerals. Sometimes the pesticides that are mixed in the soil seeps down and contaminates the groundwater. Sometimes due to heavy rains and floods, these pesticides reaches the water bodies like ponds and rivers. Then these pesticides and insecticide residues enter the bodies of aquatic plants and animals of that pond. In this way, these chemical pesticides and insecticides enter the food chains. If a pond is contaminated by pesticides and insecticides, these chemicals enter the bodies of aquatic plants and animals present in that pond. The amount of pesticide residue increases if we go up in a food chain. Let us see how it happens. In a polluted pond, the pesticides enter the bodies of the aquatic plants. From the same pond, a snail may eat lots of such polluted plants in its lifetime. So these poisonous chemicals enter the bodies of the snail. Then the chemical deposits in the body of the snail are greater than the chemical deposit in each of these plants. Now, if fishes eat such polluted snails in a very large quantity in their lifetime, then these fishes get more toxic chemical deposits into their bodies. If we consider the next organism in this food chain is man, we know man usually stays at the top of the food chain. If a man consumes such contaminated fish in large quantity, all the toxic chemical residues present in the bodies of the fish enters the body of that man. In this way, large amounts of pesticide and insecticide residues get accumulated and deposited in our bodies. Here the amount of pesticide residue in the first level of the food chain, that is in the aquatic plant, is very low. But the amount of pesticide residues increases progressively from one trophic level to next trophic level, and the concentration of pesticides is magnified at the final level. This phenomenon is called biological magnification. Let's see the definition of biological magnification. When harmful substances become more concentrated as they move up in the food chains, posing greater risk to animals at higher trophic levels, including humans. This is called biological magnification. Every day, we use many food ingredients like rice, wheat, sugar, milk, meat, and vegetables. All these things we source from either plants or animals. Pesticide residues from these ingredients enter our body. Even though we wash our food ingredients thoroughly, and even though we cook them properly, we cannot completely remove the pesticide residues from them. Unfortunately, our body cannot detoxify these chemical residues completely. Our body cannot excrete them also. Hence, they remain in our body and causes various health problems. This is all about the biological magnification and its impact on our health. Ozone layer. Ozone depletion is one of the important environment problems we are facing now. Let us know about the formation and depletion of ozone layer. Oxygen and ozone both are made up of oxygen atoms, but they both differ a lot in their properties. Oxygen is made up of two oxygen atoms and its chemical formula is O2. Ozone is made up of three oxygen atoms and its chemical formula is O3. Oxygen is a life-saving gas. It is very essential for the survival of the aerobic organisms on the earth. Whereas ozone is a deadly poisonous gas, but it protects us from the harmful UV radiation of the sun. Overexposure to this UV radiation can cause skin cancer in humans. Oxygen is present in atmosphere, but ozone is found at the higher levels of the atmosphere, that is 15 to 40 kilometers above the surface of the earth. How this ozone is formed? When the UV radiation of the sunlight hits the oxygen in the atmosphere, then the oxygen molecules split into oxygen atoms. Now the split free oxygen atoms combine with oxygen molecules and form ozone molecules. This is how the ozone is formed. Now there is a problem to this ozone layer. There is a gradual thinning of the ozone layer present in the upper atmosphere due to certain reasons. This thinning of ozone layer is called ozone depletion. The decline of ozone in the atmosphere was identified by various scientists since 1980. The main reason for the decline of ozone is a chemical compound called chlorofluorocarbon. CFCs are used in the manufacture of air conditioners, refrigerators, fire extinguishers, and spray cans. In 1987, United Nations Environment Programme UNEP made an agreement with all the countries to stop the usage of CFCs. Now it is mandatory that any company in the world cannot make refrigerators with CFCs. Not only CFCs, nearly 100 types of other gases also contribute to the depletion of ozone. So, reducing the usage of this kind of gases helps to protect the ozone layer. The next environmental problem is garbage. Managing the garbage we produce. In our daily life, we throw different kinds of waste. In that waste, there may be some vegetable waste, leftover food, papers, plastic covers, disposable plates and cups, plastic bottles, old clothes, etc. You might have observed that the garbage vehicle collects the garbage in two separate categories. 1. Biodegradable waste. 2. Non-biodegradable waste. First, let us see what biodegradable items are. If you observe the leaves that fall in the soil, they slowly mix up with the soil in few days. Do you know the reason? The bacteria present in the soil decomposes the leaves. In the same way, any animal is dead and its body lies in the soil. The bacteria present in the soil decomposes its body. What is decomposition? The bodies of living things are made up of complex organic molecules. Converting these complex organic molecules into simple molecules is called decomposition. Bacteria have special enzymes in their body. With the help of these enzymes, bacteria can do the decomposition. So bacteria can decompose the wastes and dead remains of plants and animals. They can also decompose the things that are made with plant or animal ingredients like food, paper, natural fiber, cloths, leather, etc. So this kind of substances are called biodegradable materials. The substances that are broken down by biological processes are said to be biodegradable materials. But if you throw plastic bottles in the soil, can they be decomposed by bacteria? No, because if an object has to be decomposed, the microorganisms should have necessary enzymes to decompose it. But microorganisms do not have the enzymes to decompose the items like plastic, nylon, etc. So, this kind of synthetic materials do not get mixed up with soil for a very long period of time. This kind of materials are called non-biodegradable materials. Disposable plates, spoons, cups, polythene covers, plastic bottles, synthetic clothes, glass, all these are examples of non-biodegradable materials. Due to the changes in our lifestyle, we are generating a lot of garbage. In olden days, people used to prefer paper, cardboard, grass, such items for packing. But now we are using synthetic materials like plastic, polythene for packing purpose. Day by day, the usage of non-biodegradable materials is increasing. This increase in the usage of non-biodegradable items leads to so many environmental problems. Then what is the solution for this problem? The solution is we have to reduce, reuse or recycle the non-biodegradable items. Reduce, reuse, recycle is a mantra that promotes environmentally friendly practices to minimize waste and conserve resources. It's a set of principles aimed to sustainable living and waste management. Reduce. Reduce focuses on minimizing the generation of waste by using fewer resources and producing less overall waste. For example, using reusable bags. Instead of using single-use plastic bags, carry a worn reusable bag for shopping. 2. Using energy-efficient appliances. Use energy-efficient appliances and light bulbs to reduce energy consumption. Next one, reuse. Reuse involves finding new uses for items to extend their lifespan and reduce the need for constant production of new goods. For example, containers and jars. Reuse glass jars and containers for storage rather than buying new ones every time. Recycle. Recycling is the process of converting used materials into new products, reducing the need for raw materials and energy. Example, paper recycling. We can recycle paper products like newspapers, cardboard, and office paper to reduce the demand for fresh paper pulp. In the same way, plastic recycling. Many types of plastics can be recycled to produce new plastic products, reducing the reliance on virgin plastic production. By following the principles of reduce, reuse, and recycle, individuals and communities can contribute to a more sustainable and environmentally friendly lifestyle, helping to preserve natural resources and reduce the negative impact of waste on this planet. This is all about our environment. Thanks for watching. Please like the video. Please share this video with your friends. Please subscribe to Grade Booster channel. Press the bell icon to get all the latest updates. Check the description to find links of other useful videos. Check the end screens for our new videos.